If you're as obsessed with Disney movies as we are, you've probably seen each film a bazillion times. You might have also realized that Disney movies have their fair share of animation mistakes. However, some can be hard to spot out, which is why if you blink, you might miss them. Here are 10 Disney movie mistakes you might have missed.
Look, I'm Picasso.
I don't get it.
Toy Story Time Travel. Toy Story is the Disney Pixar film that changed everything for the animation world. With this new technology, it seems that anything is possible.
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
But time travel is certainly a surprise. We all know and love Woody and Buzz Lightyear's journey to return to Andy's loving arms. Buzz and Woody were captured by Sid at Pizza Palace when they were pulled out of the alien toy machine. The aliens all believed that they had been chosen. Clearly, they had no idea of the terrors that awaited Woody and Buzz at Sid's house. We've seen that Sid can get pretty creative with the toys in his room. He performed surgery on his sister's doll, putting a dinosaur head on the doll's body. In fact, there's a whole underbelly of mutilated toys in Sid's den of horrors. But with all of these impressive toy mutilating skills, we must have missed the part where Sid can time travel. If you look at the clock at the beginning of the scene in Sid's bedroom, the time reads 3:10. But then a few minutes later, the clock on the wall reads 10 o'clock. We know from the later films that Sid became a garbage collector, but clearly he should be working for NASA, or maybe it was just an honest mistake. The Lion King. The Lion King is a story of triumph, perseverance, and, changing eye colors. In the movie, Simba loses his father. Then he is chased out of the Pride Lands when Scar tells him to run away and never return. Then Simba finds Timon and Pumbaa, and they Hakuna Matata their way to Simba's adulthood. And that's when Simba's cubhood friend, Nala, comes to shake things up. For most of the movie, Nala's eyes are a lovely sky blue color. But in the scene where this hungry lioness sees Pumbaa as a delicious jungle snack and chases him through the jungle, something is different. As she is crouching in the grass before she pounces on Pumbaa, her eyes are suddenly a vibrant green. And after Simba rescues Pumbaa and recognizes Nala, her eyes turn gray. So do Nala's eyes change color when she's hunting? What's the deal with that? Is this a lion thing? Well, according to lionalert.org, a lion's eyes will change color, but not the way Nala's did in the movie. A lion's eyes are blue-gray in color when they are born. However, they change to an amber color at 2 to 3 months old. So apparently, this is just a Disney animation mistake. Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc. is a Disney Pixar film that is full of hilarious moments, but one moment really stands out. In the monster world, they believe that if a human child touches a monster, it means the end of that monster's life.
A single touch could kill you.
This sets up a hilarious role reversal, as it makes these giant monsters scared of tiny human children. If a monster comes into contact with any human object, certain precautions are taken to avoid contamination. So when George emerges from a child's closet door with a little tiny sock stuck to his back, his coworker yells out that they have a 2319.
2319! We have a 2319!
This causes a full panic and shutdown of the factory, while the CDA, or Child Detection Agency, jumps into action. They carefully remove the baby sock with these huge tongs and blow it up in a bomb bubble. Then they tackle George, shave off his fur, give him a spontaneous shower, and rip off a strip of tender monster skin where the sock was. Poor George. With all that action, it's easy to overlook the animation mistake. First, the sock is turned one way, and then in the next shot, it is turned around the opposite way. Beauty and the Beast. It's a tale as old as time, but that doesn't make this classic Disney movie immune to mistakes.
Gently, gently.
In Beauty and the Beast, a young prince is cursed when he refuses to give an old woman shelter from the cold and stormy weather. After he turns her away, she turns into a beautiful sorceress and puts a curse on the young prince. She turns him into the Beast until he can find someone to love him for who he is on the inside. He must find true love to break this curse before his 21st birthday, or he will be doomed to remain a beast for the rest of his days. As you can imagine, the prince didn't take this well at all. In fact, he threw a huge beastly fit and destroyed many things in his castle. One of the things he destroys is an old painting of himself in human form. He slashes through it with his massive claws, and this is where the mistake happens. Initially, the slash marks in the painting go from left to right at the downward angle, but when Belle wanders into that forbidden room later in the movie, the slash marks go the opposite direction. Of course, this mistake doesn't take away from the film. It's still awesome. Frozen. And speaking of awesome Disney movies, Frozen gave fans everywhere an avalanche of emotions when it first came out. This film proves that the power of true love can exist between sisters too, and not just a prince and princess. In fact, this movie poked fun at Disney's tendency of marrying new couples within a very short time frame.
Yes!
And who can forget the power ballad when Elsa sings at the top of her snowy mountain? This song is responsible for every toddler living room performance session in the world. We've seen this movie a dozen times and still get all choked up when Elsa changes into her crystal-embellished dress and lets down her long braid. We love this movie so much, so we hate to point out this super noticeable animation mistake, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Somebody's gotta tell him.
During the iconic scene when Elsa becomes the Snow Queen of her isolated kingdom, she lets her braid down. But when she pulls the braid forward, it passes right through her shoulder. But you know what? We love this movie so much, we're totally willing to let it go. See what we did there? All right, moving on. Aladdin. We've already pointed out a weird human anatomy mistake made by the animators of Disney's Aladdin in our previous video. And we've recently pointed out an animation mistake involving a certain grumpy suitor who lost his underpants to Jasmine's tiger, Rajah. We promise we're not picking on this movie. However, we did notice another notable mistake toward the end of the film. It involves Princess Jasmine and a certain evil sultan. There's a part where Jafar captures the lamp and demands that Genie makes the princess fall in love with him. We all know from the beginning of the film that Genie can't make anyone fall in love.
I can't make anybody fall in love with anybody else.
But Jafar wasn't privy to that conversation, so Jasmine decides to distract Jafar by pretending she is in love with him so that Aladdin can steal the lamp back. During this scene, we notice a little oopsie moment regarding Jasmine's wardrobe, particularly with the gold armband she's wearing. At first, the gold bracelet is on her right arm, but then after she kisses Jafar and he realizes she was trying to trick him, he shoves her down. Then the gold bracelet is on her left arm. Oopsie!
You're crazy.
Lilo and Stitch. Disney's Lilo and Stitch reminds us all about the meaning of family and that no one gets left behind. Lilo tries to fit in with her peers, but she quickly sticks out like a sore thumb, which isn't exactly a bad thing. In the beginning, Lilo is running late for a hula dance rehearsal. She storms in soaking wet and dripping all over the floor. The wet spots on the floor cause the other dancers to slip and fall. When Lilo explains why she was late, it's still rather confusing to the adults.
Every Thursday I take Pudge the fish a peanut butter sandwich.
But she ran out of peanut butter, so she had to go get some more. Her sister suggested that she just feed a tuna sandwich to Pudge, which was very distressing to Lilo.
If I gave Pudge tuna, I'd be an abomination.
And she insists that Pudge controls the weather. The grown-ups look at each other completely dumbfounded. And that's when we notice a continuity error. At the beginning of the scene, we see drummers drumming on identical drums. But after Lilo tells her Pudge the fish story, one of the drums are different. Mulan. At the beginning of Mulan, Mulan must impress a matchmaker in order to be matched with a husband who will bring honor to her family.
Please help her.
Mulan's meeting with the matchmaker doesn't go very well. Her grandmother gives Mulan a cricket for good luck, but the cricket gets her into a whole lot of trouble. Mulan has written notes on her wrist so she can pass her test with flying colors. The matchmaker grabs Mulan's wrist, rubbing the ink from Mulan's arm onto her fingers. The woman then rubs her fingers on her face, making it look like she's rocking a goatee. Mulan pours some tea at the matchmaker's request, and just as the matchmaker is about to drink, Mulan sees her cricket relaxing in the tea like it's a hot tub. She tries to wrestle the teacup away from the matchmaker. In the process, the cricket falls down the matchmaker's blouse, causing her to fall onto a pile of hot coals. Her rear end catches on fire, so Mulan does the only logical thing. She splashes her in the face with a pot of hot tea. We don't want to nitpick, but we think she splashed the wrong area. And to be honest, we're still not sure how the tush fire was extinguished. WreckIt Ralph. Vanellope von Schweetz demonstrates what happens to your teeth when you eat too much sugar in WreckIt Ralph. There's the scene where Ralph is trying to teach Vanellope how to drive her new, albeit janky cart, which she calls the lickety-split. She is cruising hard and fast around her underground racetrack when she crashes the cart, knocking out a tooth in the process. This is probably because her teeth are weak and full of cavities from all that sugar. You'd think that her tooth is probably gone for the rest of the movie, right? Wrong! Somehow her tooth magically reappears a few seconds later. care. Either the Sugar Rush game has the fastest dental care in the universe, or they made an animation mistake. We think they have done it on purpose so that Vanellope wouldn't have a gap in her teeth for the rest of the film, although that would have been pretty cool. And when you think about it, it totally fits her character. Vanellope's already got a bunch of candy stuck in her hair. It would have been fun to hear her sassy comments come out with a slight lisp due to her missing tooth.
Kaboom!
Now we got him.
Toy Story 2. We all want to believe our favorite cartoon characters are real, but when the movies accidentally prove the contrary, it's hard to know what to think. Take this Toy Story 2 scene, for example. You know, the one where the characters are watching television? When they turn it off, there are no reflection of the characters on the screen. So are the toys like vampires? We mean, why else wouldn't they have a reflection? Or is this an example of a time when the animators got a little lazy and hoped that the loyal fans would overlook their mishap? Well, we're here to tell you that the fans noticed. Toy Story 2 showed another shining example of toys and friends sticking together no matter what, even when they appear to be totally invisible. While we are pretty sure this is an animation oversight, it's fun to imagine alternatives for why they can't see their own reflections on the screen. Perhaps it's a commentary on the way the regular, tactile toys are becoming obsolete in the modern world. Or maybe it was just an honest mistake. For the time being, the toy's missing reflection remains a mystery. Got any theories of your own? We'd love to hear all about them. Are there any Disney movie mistakes we missed? If so, tell us in the comments.
Come on, let's see the next episode.
That's it?
What?
And that's the end of our video. As usual, give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to The Things. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.